All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this Middle Mile Broadband Initiative, or MMBI, as we'll normally refer to it, the Construction Manager General Contractor CMGC Outreach Webinar. Uh, this MMBI project is a high priority for the administration to provide high-speed internet connectivity to unserved and underserved communities throughout the state. We really appreciate your interest in the project and look forward to partnering in its construction. I'm Mark Monroe. I'm the Deputy Director for the Middle Mile Broadband Initiative, and our office oversees the development of this project and works heavily with the Caltrans team, who will be designing and contracting for construction of most of the network. And with that, I'll turn it over to Caltrans for some introductions.
Yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Middle Mile Broadband Initiative's virtual outreach event for the Construction Manager General Contracts. We are advertising approximately over 3,500 miles of the 10,000-mile network through the CMGC contracting process. And over this meeting, we will be sharing information about the Middle Mile Broadband projects, the CMGC contracting process, and a breakdown of the contracts currently advertised and a look ahead at what's coming up. And thank you again for your time, and I hope this event is informative for all of you. I will pass it back to Belinda Hahn. Go ahead, Belinda.
Hi, good morning. I'm Belinda Hahn. I am with the department. I'm the contracting supervisor for Alternative Delivery Program. So welcome. So you will hear a little bit about CMCG delivery process today. So we have approximately 9 projects right now is advertised right now as a CMCG project. So I'll pass it on to Matt DeHaven.
Everyone, welcome and thanks for attending today. I'm Matt DeHaven with the Broadband Equity Partnership. Our role is advisors to CDT, and we'll be providing engineering design review and oversight for the California Department of Technology.
Perfect. Thank you for those introductions. We will go ahead and get started with our MMBI summary with Mark. Mark, I think you're muted.
Very good. Thank you. Apologize for that. So yeah, just to kind of summarize here, as I think we've all been seen reinforced over the last 3 years, high-speed internet has become a necessity to participate in the modern economy for basic needs such as school, work, healthcare, and emergency services. So, but at the same time, there's about 2 million people in the state that don't have access to affordable, reliable high-speed internet, and almost 1 million that have no access at all. So to solve for this, the administration worked with the legislature in the 2021 Budget Act last year and SB 156 to provide a total of $6 billion in broadband infrastructure funding, with $3.25 billion in federal, federal ARPA funding going to develop the state-owned open access middle mile network project that we're here to discuss today. As noted, these are federal ARPA funding. They have very tight time frames, so we need to have all of the construction contracts signed by the end of 2024 and all of the construction completed by the end of 2026. We, in terms of moving forward this project, the SB 156 kind of laid out some roles. The Public Utilities Commission has been vital in helping to identify kind of what areas we're targeting in terms of unserved and underserved communities. The third-party administrator, Golden State Net, has been really key in helping to kind of develop the network architecture to go from connecting lines on a map to actually making sure we have a network that is resilient and robust. And then Caltrans is really vital for this in terms of doing the construction. The project depends heavily on construction of the network by Caltrans along the state highway rights of way. And so we've worked with the Public Utilities Commission and Golden State Net to develop the 10,000-mile map reflected here. It's intended to follow Caltrans right of way along 10,000 miles altogether to connect unserved and underserved communities throughout the state with a middle mile backbone. Which will provide a place for new and existing ISPs to connect for internet service. Equity remains a high priority for the administration and the legislature, and so both in execution and in service. And to that end, the state will have a small business and DVBE goals that Caltrans will be walking us through a bit later. And with that, I will turn it over to Belinda Hahn of Caltrans to provide an overview of what the state is looking for with regards to these CMGC contracts.
Good morning again. I'm Belinda Hahn. I'm with Caltrans. I am the Office of Innovative Design and Delivery. So we will talk about the construction manager and general contractor delivery methods. Next. The agenda is as following: is we talk about what we call a CMCG. What is CMCG? What does the process entail about? What does it mean by pre-construction services? What is early work package? And how does the CMCG bid process work? That's what we will talk about in the previous slide. Next. Basically, CMCG contract is a two-part contract. We first hire a CM, contract manager, during the pre-construction service stage using the qualification base. Once that we select the most qualified construction manager, we'll ask them to provide these professional services, give us inputs as far as the schedule, as far as the risk analysis, as far as the construction phasings, as far as the innovation as well. Okay. Once we have finalized the what we call it RTL package ready, which is 100% design ready, we will come into working with the team to try to get the agreed to price. If the contractor accept the price, then they will become a general contractor for the contract. That's why it's called a two-part contract. Next. And the CMCG process, again, we first have the RFQ, request for qualification, to select the most qualified contract manager to perform the work. Once we award what we call pre-construction service contract, where we talk about that, it's basically having the construction manager provides a design inputs and service inputs during the design phase. Once we finalize the design package, 100% design, then we will come in to agree to price again. If we do not agree to price, a fair and reasonable price, then the projects will be advertised, and the construction manager team cannot bid on that project. So it will go out to the street for advertisement, just like a design bid build contract. If the construction management team agree to price, they will become a general contractor. They will construct the projects. Next. During the pre-construction services stage, how and what is the involvement during the pre-construction services? We basically is very transparent, open with them, talk about the plan, the specs, drawing, the details, right? The contractor will share the pricing assumption that they use, the software that they use, and the pricings including how much labor do they use, what is the material be using, and what is entail of each of the bid item of the pricing. And also during the pre-construction service, we also partnering and collaborate with the contractor, develop the innovative solution. There's always more than one way to build the projects, right? So develop the innovative solution, either accelerate the schedule, give us a better quality product at the end of the day, or cheaper prices at the end of the days. And also we work together to allocate those risks and how do we mitigate those risks, and what are the risks that we cannot mitigate, what we can do to price those risks, right? So those risks can be impacting both the schedule and budget, how we better mitigate those risks. And also during the pre-construction services, it's a time to partnering and collaborating with the CM, the contractor, is like, hey, what are the identify the subcontractor opportunity? What are the items that they could subcontract out, reaching out to small business, as well as the not limited to small business and DVBE firm. Next. Early work packages. What we commonly use for the CMCG services is that when we work with a contractor and say, hey, this is the overall schedule, how can we do things differently to accelerate some of the buildable section? We could, basically either construct each of the proportion of the project independently. So we could do that. Therefore, we streamline the delivery. This will be very helpful for middle mile broadband network projects. So what we can do to line those up, construct independent proportion of the projects independently. And the other thing that we consideration is that the early work package, what can the CM contractor help us to define the sizes of those different work packages? How do we get the better resources to line up those resources ready and available to the construction out there? And also some of these utility and early work package, we could utilize some of these early work package to do some of the utility and early work that we could do prior to getting all the permits and all the other things ready. So basically the option is limitless when we are coming to early work packages. Next. Some people was like wondering, what is the CMCG bid process is about? So basically, we work with the three estimate. We have the department engineer estimate. The construction manager will submit the cost estimate. We also hire what we call ICE, independent cost estimator, to understand, they give us a three estimate. So we will come a three estimate. We will come into a fair price, hopefully at the end of the day, to proceed to build. That's why we want a three-part estimate to make sure all prices are fair and reasonable prior to go out to build. If we did not get a fair and reasonable price, then we will send it out for design build process. So basically going out the whole package, send it out to advertise. Now that's the end of my presentation. I hand the mic back to Hadid.
Thank you, Belinda. Again, good morning. This is Hadid Takar. I'm with Caltrans, the program director for the Middle Mile Broadband Network program. Let's see. Go to the next slide, please. So as mentioned in Mark's presentation, we do have the full system design map for the Middle Mile Broadband Initiative that includes 10,000 miles of the proposed build that spans the entire state. Now, to put this in perspective, Caltrans owns and operates about 15,000 centerline miles. And with this initiative, we are adding broadband to almost 2/3 of the entire system. This is a substantial amount of work, and to accomplish this, we will need to use every tool at our disposal, including innovative delivery methods like the construction manager general contracting methods. Next slide, please. So in support of this effort, there are currently 5 CMGC contracts that have been advertised, which are posted on the Cal E-Procure website. They're in Districts 5, 6, District 11, District 5, and District 11 as well. And counties are listed, and as I mentioned, they're all available at the caliprocure.ca.gov website for additional information on the event packages that you can obtain from there. Next slide, please. Additionally, we're working on to advertise 4 CMGC opportunities as well. These opportunities will be posted on Caltrans's Look Ahead, and when advertised, will be posted as well on the Cal E-Procure website. Again, these are in Districts 1, 2, 3, and also Districts 4, 9, and 10 as well. So approximately at this point, the plan is to advertise approximately over 3,500 miles of the entire network through the construction manager general contracting methodology to build the entire network. Next slide, please. So the Middle Mile Broadband Initiative is funded through the Federal American Rescue Plan Act, ARPA, also referred to as ARPA, that requires funds to be encumbered by December 2024, and the project should be completed with all funds utilized by December 2026. This is an aggressive timeline to meet the 10,000 mile network goal, and then we're ensuring that we maximize the use of the federal dollars to meet these timelines. Again, we have to execute the construction contracts by December 2024. It's a no later than date. and complete construction by June 2026 and close out projects by December 2026. We are closely working with CDT to ensure that we be prepared to navigate any challenges and potential issues as we strive to meet these timelines. Next slide, please. So the Broadband Middle Mile Initiative is an example of how Caltrans is not doing business as usual. Through state legislation, Senate Bill 156, we've been given flexibility to accomplish this 10,000-mile goal. In addition to the conventional design build methodology for delivery, we're using alternative delivery methods, including job order contracting and construction manager general contracts, to accelerate delivery on most of the network miles. In the standard project delivery process, which is linear, with each phase being allocated and then completed, instead, we are streamlining the delivery process to create efficiencies in design, permitting, and contracting, which allows these pre-construction processes to be completed concurrently. Caltrans is also working with California Department of Technology, the project owner, and is leveraging opportunities with the type of work to streamline its project delivery processes to reduce timelines in design, permitting, and contracting, again, to implement these pre-construction activities concurrently. In order to accelerate delivery, we are looking for every opportunity to avoid impacts to environmental resources and also work within the state-owned right-of-way where it's feasible. So these are some of the strategies that we are continuing to implement. Next slide, please. The work will involve trenching 6 to 12 inches wide and 24 to 42 inches in depth, depending on the site conditions, using plowing, trenching, and trenchless installation construction means and methods to install conduits and fiber for the entire 10,000-mile network. It will involve building about 21,000 walls every 2,500 feet approximately to pull fiber, and also building splice walls located every 15,000 feet along the network to serve as connection points to allow local access to broadband providers. We will also be building approximately over 200 plus network hub shelters for fiber optic cable signal regeneration, which will be strategically positioned every 50 miles along the state right-of-way, where buried fiber optic cable is transferred above ground to connect with transceiver devices to boost and enhance data signals. So that is the scope of the program that I wanted to cover. I will pass this back to the coordinator to go over the next steps. This one.
Thank you, Hardeep. Yes, we're going to go ahead and take a very quick 5-minute break so that we can get our Q&A started. So we will resume at approximately 10:26. All right, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again. We're going to go ahead and get started with our Q&A. If you have any questions, go ahead and raise your hand, or you can type it directly into the Q&A box and we will unmute you. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the first question that wasn't answered in the box. And it is from Nathan Rinaldi. And the question is, when will the CMGC projects for districts 1, 2, 3 be advertised? I will let either Belinda or Hardeep answer that question.
Sorry, Samir, can you repeat the question again?
Of course. It's from Nathan Rinaldi, and it's, when will the CMGC projects for districts 1, 2, and 3 be advertised?
We don't have a schedule yet. We're working with District 1, 2, and 3 to determine the advertisement date.
Okay. Thank you. Going on to the next question. It is from Ahmad, and it's kind of a lengthy question, so bear with me. Several weeks ago in the JOC call, a question was asked about the use of the CMGC contracts on a go-forward basis. Caltrans' response was that the CMGC would not be utilized moving forward. Was that an incorrect answer? And did you need me to read it again?
No, no, Cole, Samari, I can take that one.
Okay.
Yeah, I apologize, Mr. Ahmad. I don't recall that response, but yeah, the plan all along was to utilize the job order contracting and the CMGC delivery methods to build the entire network. So yeah, I apologize if I don't recall specifically the response that was provided at the JOC outreach.
Okay. Thank you. Next question is from Diana Leseca. Apologize if I pronounced your last name wrong. It's a bit of a lengthy question here. This one is, this project will involve several districts. Their company, BESS Test Lab, has extensive experience working with Caltrans. Currently, they're on call for projects District 4, 5, 6, and 7. Will it be possible to bid in all districts? Most of the time we go under the umbrella of a prime, and in each district the primes change. And Diana would like to hear Caltrans' take on this.
Belinda, do you want to try to answer that one?
When we select the CMCG contractor, doing pre-construction services is based on the qualification. So if the qualification, your team is qualified to do the work, we'll select based on that. So if they are a sub, then we will just working on the basically collaboration and partnering with the CMCG contractor during the design phase to select the right sub for the work.
Okay, thank you, Belinda. Next question is from Alheli Huerta, and it is there a DBE goal?
I could take this question. There is no DBE goal requirement for the pre-construction services contract, since this is not a federal Title 23 funding project.
Okay, thank you. That was the last question in the chat. I'm going to go scroll up a little bit to make sure I didn't skip anything, but I believe all of the questions were answered. And again, you can raise your hand if you have a question. You don't have to type it into the chat. And we do have time as we're running ahead of schedule, so we are available to answer questions if there's any more. Okay, I don't see any hands up. No more questions in the chat. Oh, wait, I see Diana Leseca's hand is up. So we'll go ahead and allow you to unmute yourself.
Thank you. I'm unmute. This is Diana with Best Test Lab, and we are underground utility service company. And Belinda, you did answer my question, but I had another one after your response. Since we are a vendor that does specifically locating, portholing, or CCTV, and I know that there is going to be portholing coming up, we have to go under the umbrella of a prime, because I'm sure that you are going to give the whole project to somebody that can do more than one specific thing, right? That's my question, actually.
Okay, so I think that you're looking for subcontracting opportunity. Am I correct?
Sometimes we go as a prime when, for example, on the on-call projects that we have 5 districts with Caltrans, we are just on call for anything that is locating and portholing. Okay. So they just call us directly. But for this opportunity, potholing is going to be just one part of the other services, I'm assuming, right? That's what I wasn't clear about.
So you have to take a look at the RFQ, request for qualification requirements. So we do have a request for qualification requirement, what we're looking for when we hire CMGC contractor to perform the pre-construction service work. To take a look at that, the requirement in there to see does it fits your need to apply as a prime. We also, once we hire the CMCG contractor, like I say that in the one of the PowerPoint slide, we collaborate and partnering with the CMCG contractor to look for subcontracting opportunity.
Okay,
So,
thank you. You answered my question. I appreciate it.
All righty. I think I saw someone's hand up, but then they put it back down. Brian Mefford, did you have a question? Well, I'll go ahead and unmute you just in case. Brian Mefford, I saw your hand up, but then it went back down. I just want to make sure.
Thank you. My question was answered earlier, but thank you.
All right, perfect. Any other questions? Right, I don't see any other questions in the chat as well. All right, so we're going to go ahead and end pretty early here. If there are any other questions that you think of, you can contact us at mmbi.pmo@state.ca.gov. And again, thank you for joining us today for our outreach webinar.